Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for our first webinar. My name is Hüseyin Bitirin and I'm the translator and French representative at Papilon Savunma. Our company is the leading provider of biometric technologies, system manufacturer, and research and development center. Founded in 2012 and grew into a publicly owned company in 2019, today we comprise a number of trendsetter products and expert solutions around the world in biometrics and artificial intelligence. In this webinar series, we will especially discuss the developments in the field of biometrics and artificial intelligence, as well as what technology adds to our daily lives and how it can shape our lives in the future. Our first guest, Sevilay Kurt, graduated from the Department of Computer Engineering at Middle East Technical University and worked as an IT group manager at one of the biggest banks of Turkey for 11 years. She then worked as a mainframe senior architect for 7 years, and in the next stage as Chief Technology Officer at IBM for 14 years. Currently working as Chief Product Strategy at Papilon, she has extensive knowledge in the field of product strategy and management, product-centric organization transformation, strategic business planning, and execution. We thank her in advance for attending our very first webinar. At this point, I would like to tell you a little bit about the process. First of all, I will be asking our 5 questions to Mrs. Sevilay, and then I will direct your questions coming from the comment section to her. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box. I will bring them up during the presentation, and we will also have time for questions at the end. Welcome. Hello.
Hello everyone. Welcome.
Thank you so much. How are you, Mrs. Sevilay?
Thank you so much. It's a rainy day, so hopefully we will have no problem at all in Ankara.
A lot of rainstorms, but I think we're going to be okay. I would like to start with our first question without wasting any time, if you will.
Yeah, sure.
What should we understand when we say biometrics and artificial intelligence?
So when we say biometrics, actually in general, we understand that the uniqueness of a human being. So when we come to the biometric technology, actually it falls into the 2 dimensions. One is physiological biometric specifications of human being, and the other one is the behavioral specifications. So regarding the physiological biometrics, it comes into the fingerprint, palm, vein, hand veins, and iris, retina, and face mainly. Yes. And maybe we can add, of course, many other things, DNA type. So the other one is behavioral one is handwriting, signature, for example. And the other one is voice. Your voice has specific uniqueness in it. And the other one is how you walk. For example, your walk has specific patterns. You can also identify it. And then the other one is actually, maybe we can say that how you type, keystroke. So this is also kind of some specific uniqueness to human being. So with that, it's actually when we say that biometric technology, it falls that identification of a person, verification of a person, and authentication of a person. So all these process is not enough to make it in just standard classical languages to code it. So you have to leverage the artificial intelligence technologies to make it much more secure, accurate, and high performing. And to be able to scale the solutions to many locations, to many hardware and the interface points, to make it high performing and high secure. So with that, actually, regarding the security and the performance, you have to have leveraging the neural networks, algorithms and deep learning and the machine learning technologies. So with that, there are some key metrics actually to measure how your solutions, biometric solutions, is performing in terms of accuracy, in terms of security. So with that, maybe we can say that there are some metrics, for example, false rejection ratio or false acceptance ratio, which means that how your solution is accurate in terms of accepting the right person. This is one ratio or one metric. And the other one is your solution is how much accurate in terms of identifying the correct person with different, for example, images, photos. So with that, it is very much important that you can align the uniqueness of human body through the biometrics specs, through the artificial intelligence solutions, and considering those key metrics to have a globally accepted solutions, which we are in Papilon are recognized as one of the top performers in NIST organization. NIST is the National Institute of Science and Technology in US, which is one of the key authority in globally, so that you can measure or test your solution how much accurate and secure. So this is something we can talk about the biometric solution in general, I would say.
Thank you so much. What kind of changes will biometrics and artificial intelligence cause in the sectors such as education, health, security, entertainment, telecommunication, or even finance?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, when we look at the market, I did lots of research, actually. I did lots of read in terms of big consultancy companies' reports from the World Bank analysis and the World Economic Forum analysis, because globalization and the digital ID and the biometric solutions are really emerging in recent years. What helped for this focus in this area is actually one is the how the hardware and the artificial intelligence technology is had mature and the very sophisticated, complicated solutions in terms of scanners, in terms of algorithms. And the other one is, of course, how smartphones have developed. Many of the companies right now has it's in cameras and very complicated cameras, and also the fingerprint scanners, for example, on it, so that you can leverage the biometric type of solutions with your smartphone. And the other one is actually with the COVID pandemic period, when we locked down in our home, so then at some point life goes on. So you have to have to figure out to make the things moving on. So with that, lots of regulations and the compliance and the standards are suddenly released. And the big corporates and the governments and the technology providers and help that to come together and build or move the things. Or first of all, the paradigm shift. We can do our business while we are sitting at home without going to any location physically being there. So then we have to prove ourselves through digitally, through internet, to that company, to that institution, to that public authority during this pandemic period. So with that, this had a lot to our mind shift. And the other one is, according to the analysis, when we look at some figures, some numbers, for example, in all over the world, there are more than 1 billion people without having any ID. Actually, those people exist in the world, but officially not. And the other number is 3.4 billion people have ID, but not have being able to access to digital channels. 3.4 billion people. So when we look at the females in these numbers, 45% of females doesn't have any ID, which is 15% more than men. So this is also another interesting point. And so with that, actually, the other critical part is when we look at the market analysis done by big companies, consultancy companies, that the expected market size in, for example, by 2013 is around $25 billion. So there are lots of attention all over the world from small startup, medium and small companies, and to corporate, from technology providers to enterprises to government. So lots of communities and legal entities comes together to build the standards in terms of ID, in terms of technology frameworks, in terms of technology itself, biometric technology and the artificial intelligence technology come together to make life easier and integrated. What comes to the end point, actually, it is something like that. The vision is seamless citizenship all over the world. Or maybe we can say also borderless traveling all over the world. This is something like that. But from this perspective, when we come to the specific sectors, from government entities to enterprise, financial services, education, travel agencies, healthcare, consumer sector, so that it is all about when you engage as a person to any type of institutions, companies, whatever it is, even the shopping, for example. So you have to identify yourself, or you have to do some payments through your credit card, for example. So all these comes into the biometric based solutions. So from that perspective, we, again, according to the analysis, market analysis, that they are saying that more than 90% potentially cost reduction in customer onboarding services globally, 90% cost reduction, just customer onboarding. And the other one is 110 billion hours reduction in any type of government interaction.
These are huge numbers in terms of changes, very huge.
So for example, and the other one, for example, 1.7 billion more people can access financial services. So it has huge potentials. So with that, there are lots of focus, attention, and opportunity for everyone actually all over the world. But the important point is making the balance in your solution and approach.
I think this question is really, really deep, because we have to understand it within the different sectors, as you mentioned, and the numbers are crazy. But even if you ask someone in the streets, having no idea of biometrics or artificial intelligence, as you mentioned, even today, our mobile phones uses our biometric data. Face recognition, fingerprint recognition. So even it eases our daily lives. So it's a really good question. Thank you so much for answering it. Now, we have previously talked about your work experience in various industries. Therefore, I would like to ask, what is the most creative solution you have ever seen, and where do you think this solution will evolve in the future?
Yeah, actually, the first biometric-based solution I've seen is in science fiction movies, on TVs or movies, cinemas.
Just like us.
Yeah. So when we look at the outside, as an outsider, it makes the life very easy because you are not possible to lost anything. It's not possible to forget anything like password, like tokens, whatever it is. It's not possible to lost something because you carry it. It's in your body.
Yes.
So even if you think that the chips you can carry on under your skin or somewhere in your body so that you can keep in your body all your credentials. So it's crazy. From some point, it's very much life easier thing. At the other side, it's a bit scary, actually. It's a kind of paradox. So for that, I think it has to balance human rights, because there are lots of discussions at the same time, although it has many opportunities and potentials for efficiency and making the experience greater and greater, an easier life experience. On the other side, there are lots of discussions on how ethical things, human rights, and cultural things, because it differs from country to country. So country, although it has huge potential, it has also very tough discussions in terms of how you can have the personal confidential data in your system. And the other one is, what would be the purpose to use those data? So if it's kind of stolen, so what would be the impact to society, type of thing. So this is why, although this artificial intelligence works together with the biometric solutions, and security is another very strong and must-have dimension, by design, you have to put in by design, by architecture, how you deploy your solution on-prem, on cloud, or how secure is your storage, how you transmit data, is it secure, encrypted, or whatever it is, how you physically secure your data center or your cloud provider, how it is secure, how much secure. So lots of discussion. So these are the challenges actually in biometric domain. But it's moving, but at the same time, we have to consider all these negative impacts and build our solutions accordingly. This would be my summary, actually.
Thank you so much. What are the most challenging things in biometrics and artificial intelligence, in your opinion?
Yeah, this is what actually previously I said. The security, you have to have the security in all layers in your solution. From how you capture your data, biometric data, how you process your data within the compute power, how you store your data in your storage, how you keep all these things physically secure on-prem or cloud, and how you integrate with other entities, or how you put your solution into others' solution to have a much more holistic and complicated solution. So all these security frameworks, including from hardware to software, so it should come with security. So security is the most challenging and the most important one. For example, in EU, there is 27 countries. This 27 country has, I think, more than 86 different ID over the years. So you have to build such a, if you provide the solution for your vision, like seamless citizenship experience or borderless experience, for example, at least in EU zone, you have to consider all these different type of data source, and you have to address all the human rights and ethical issues, and you have to work with all the security providers and the technology providers and service providers, and then come to a scalable, high-performing, and accurate solution. This is the challenge.
I think the most interesting part of this conversation was the ethical part, because when we talk about data, it's not just data that you store somewhere. It is a personal data belonging to a person with the biometric data and everything. So you always have to remember that it's confidential and that it's to a person's data. So it's really interesting to have the thought of always being ethical and protecting the human rights. That's really, really an interesting point. Thank you so much. How can Papilon's experiences shape the future of biometrics and artificial intelligence?
Yeah, actually, Papilon has a very strong experience for many years in especially criminal area and forensic area. Yeah, for example, biometric solution, when we look at the history, it starts in the mid of 18th. So with fingerprints to identify or to specify a person in mainly the criminal domain. So our journey as Papilon started with criminal domain, actually. So we have strong know-how in processing the fingerprint, iris, and face recognition type of algorithms. So now, in recent years, actually, we are expanding our criminal experience and the capability to civil area, which is what we talked actually previously in many domains, customer onboarding. Customer onboarding, maybe we can say that citizenship, or citizen onboarding, or student onboarding, or patient onboarding, or traveler onboarding. This is all onboarding. So we are saying that mainly this is something as a well-known terminology, know your customer. Or maybe we can say, we are saying in Papilon actually, know your X. You can put anything instead of X, as student, as teacher, as a policeman, as a doctor, or patient, traveler, citizen, or shopper, whatever you want. So, or bank customer. So we are expanding our know-how and solution in know your customer, know your X, or you can also identify your company, partner, or whatever you want. So know your X. And the other one is actually when we talk about the biometric solution or know your customer, know your citizen, it comes to at some point carrying all these different identifications. It could be biometric, it could be document, it could be any type of credentials. So this is something you have to combine all of them in a kind of digital wallet. So you can store your ID, passport, driver license, or any healthcare records, or any resident documents, or any official document, any certificates, any diploma, any type of thing. You can put all together in your digital wallet, and then verify, identify the person, and verify the correct person and then authenticate in a secure way. So then you can do whatever you want through secure connections, secure frameworks with different entities from wherever you want. But the other one is, this is the technology part. You can do it. Now the technology is ready, you can leverage to make this happen. And the other one is the regulation part, legislation part. So this is changing from country to country, sector to sector, depending on the emergency and urgency of the sector and how much power sector has. Then the related stakeholders, of course, with the under the government body, the regulations has to be ready to make it officially and legally accepted and doable. So this is something we are, as Papilon, we are also working on it and considering all these parts of the solution. And the other one is, this is also not enough to make it only locally viable solution. If you want to have a solution globally applicable, you have to apply the similar regulatory compliance, security frameworks, and standards in your solution. So this is a complex period process. Actually, you have to understand all these things in different countries, and also you have to be able to implement those standards in your solutions to make it globally viable and launchable solution. So we, as Papilon, working on this as well. So we are not just also talking about or working on just biometric type of thing. We are also expanding this know-how into the kind of object in AI domain. Actually, we are able to recognize the emotions, objects, or behavior, many things. So make it much more kind of automatic processing, whatever this sector or companies are required, we can work on it. This is something we are working to make not only locally viable and also globally accepted solutions. This is not easy. This is challenging, but this is how we envision our strategy.
Even speaking of it is challenging. So the implementation must be 10 times worse. So it looks like we've covered all of our 5 questions. Is there anything else you wanted to cover before we end our session?
I think we covered whatever I took some small notes, not to miss some critical points. I think I covered. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, great. Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you being here. It's really, really something that we really want to start with this new webinar series. And every time we're going to change subjects and work with different areas of interest in terms of what Papilon can bring to the world of biometrics and artificial intelligence. We really appreciate you being here. And thanks again to Mrs. Sevilay Kurt for being the first guest of our webinar series. Thanks again for joining us today. Let's look at the comment box to select maybe 1 or 2 questions from our viewers before we end our session.
Yeah, I'm checking the questions. Yes. There are some comments and questions. I think it's long. Let me read quickly.
We have plenty of time.
Yeah, there is one long questions regarding how we pretend actually the biases or discrimination during the face recognition process, for example. So,
can you give me some time so that I can read the question so that all the viewers can listen to it? How can we prevent the perpetuation of biases and discrimination in such systems? And what measures can be taken to ensure fairness, transparency, and accountability in their deployment?
Yeah, actually, for example, face recognition in NIST standard, there is also different set of data sets while they are measuring your accuracy and the correctness and the security of your algorithm regarding the face recognition. So the NIST organization, if you send your algorithm, they are testing your algorithms based on their data set. In that data set, in terms of race or biases or discrimination, they have different set of data sets. Like, let me say, European people data sets and African people data set type of thing. So they are doing actually their measurements so globally for each company. So we are based on their results. So this is according to it actually comes into the in basics comes to the quality of the image, not the any bias in the algorithm. The quality of the image in terms of the lighting and the exposure on dark skin, exposure on light skin, for example, so that this is on how you train according to the different data sets and the images, how much mature your algorithms, how much you can predict or correctly identify those people. This is comes to the, as I said in the beginning, that FRR and FAR metrics of your algorithm, which is published globally in the NIST organization page. So this is how we apply this metrics in our algorithms. We are leveraging the NIST standards, in short.
Yes, thank you so much, Mrs. Sevilay. Well, thanks everyone for joining today. We're ending our session here, and we hope to see you next time in our next webinar series. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.